Have you ever thought that someone might be preparing something amazing just for you, even if you don't have the slightest clue what it could be? Just imagine, as if God Himself were organizing a surprise filled with incredible gifts, perfectly chosen to bring true joy and deep peace to your heart. He knows each of your dreams, understands every desire, and has a unique plan designed just for you. But here's the question: how do we uncover this special gift? How can we be certain that He's there, preparing it all? This is where we need to take steps of faith, like closing our eyes and trusting in a surprise. All we need to do is believe in His promises and move forward with confidence. Are you ready to experience this journey? In the video, I'll show you how to build this trust and walk alongside God step by step to discover the amazing things He has in store for you. So stay with me until the end, and let's uncover everything He's already prepared for your life. And as we dive into today's video, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, because I'll be sharing more videos like this, designed to inspire you to seek a closer walk with God and discover all He has for your life and journey with Christ. Imagine having a parent who always knows exactly what you need, even before you ask. They understand what your expressions mean, whether you're smiling or silent, happy or feeling low. When you're hungry, your favorite meal is there, made just the way you like it. On a chilly day, they bring you a warm, cozy blanket before you even realize you need it. Now think of God as being like that, only even more remarkable. He knows us better than anyone, even better than we know ourselves. He understands every need, every desire, and is already taking care of each detail in our lives. God sees the struggles we face, the fears we keep to ourselves, and even the dreams we haven't dared to share. Nothing escapes His notice. Trusting God is like putting our hand in the hand of someone who sees the entire journey ahead, even when we can't see beyond the next step. He not only understands our needs, but is preparing everything with deep care and love. Even in moments that feel difficult or unclear, He's there, working things out perfectly in His timing. Sometimes we may feel lost, as if life isn't going as planned. But when we believe God is in control, we can find peace, knowing He's organizing everything behind the scenes. He takes care of every detail with kindness and patience, making sure that in the end we're filled with peace and feel secure in His hands. So, we can take a deep breath and rest, knowing He's always looking out for us, even when we can't see what's coming. Picture yourself sitting in your living room after a long day, when suddenly the aroma of your favorite meal fills the room. You didn't even need to ask, but it's there, just how you love it. Or imagine a chilly morning when all you want is to feel warm and comfortable. Before you even think to ask, someone appears with a cozy blanket, wrapping you in the comfort that only someone who truly knows you can give. Now imagine that this care and love come from someone who knows you better than anyone in the world. Someone who understands every one of your desires, worries, and even those dreams you haven't shared with anyone. That someone is God. He sees everything, not to judge, but to be present in each detail of your life, meeting your needs with kindness and patience. Even the fears you try to hide and the challenges you face alone, He knows and is already at work behind the scenes to help you overcome them. Trusting God is like holding hands with someone who knows exactly where to lead you, even when you can't see beyond the next step. It's like having a guide in a forest, someone who knows every tree, every turn, every hidden path, while you can only see what's right in front of you. Even when everything feels uncertain, He's there, working silently to organize each detail of your journey and ensuring the best is in store for you. At times, life takes turns we don't understand, and the path may feel far from our plans. We might feel lost with questions that seem to have no answers. But when we remember that God is in control, we can relax, knowing He's looking after every step and placing each piece exactly where it needs to be. It's as if all our worries are being rearranged by someone who sees the whole picture. So we can take a deep breath and let our hearts rest. Even if we can't see what's ahead, God is there, handling every detail, making sure that in His perfect timing, everything will come together in a way that brings us peace and well-being. He never stops watching over us. Let me share two amazing stories that show how trusting in God can turn a little into a lot. The first story is about a prophet named Elijah, a man who lived a life fully devoted to God, trusting and following his ways without hesitation. At one point, God led him to a town called Zarephath. There, Elijah met a widow facing a very tough situation. She was poor and lived alone with her son during a time of great drought, when water was scarce and food almost impossible to find. Things were so dire that she only had a handful of flour and a little oil, just enough to make one last piece of bread. She planned to prepare this small meal for herself and her son, and then face what seemed like the inevitable end. Then Elijah approached her and asked for a bit of water and a piece of bread. Imagine the difficulty of this request. She had so little, and now a stranger was asking her to share what little she had left. However, Elijah also brought a promise from God. He assured her that if she trusted and helped him, God would ensure she and her son would not run out of food. Filled with faith and hope, the widow decided to trust in God and his promises. With what little she had, she made a piece of bread and offered the first portion to Elijah. And then something amazing happened. Every time the widow went back to her jar of flour and jug of oil, they were still full, as if they hadn't been used at all. The flour and oil didn't run out, and she had enough to feed herself, her son, and the prophet Elijah throughout the entire drought. This story shows us that when we trust in God and offer what little we have, He takes care of every detail in miraculous ways, surprising us beyond our expectations. The second story is from a special moment in Jesus' life when he was teaching a crowd that had been listening to him for hours. The people were so captivated by his words that they lost track of time, but by the end of the day, hunger set in. There were thousands gathered, and the disciples realized that no one had brought enough food for such a large crowd. They managed to find only 5 loaves and 2 fish, a tiny amount for so many people. But with calmness and faith, Jesus took the loaves and fish, lifted them up, and thanked God for this small meal, asking for his blessing. Then, with quiet assurance, Jesus began to distribute the food. As he did, something incredible happened right before everyone's eyes. The food didn't run out. The more he shared, the more there was. Each person ate until they were completely satisfied. And in the end, there were even 12 baskets of bread and fish left over. Jesus showed the crowd that when we trust in God and thank him for his blessings, no matter how small they seem, he multiplies and transforms a little into an abundance beyond our imagination. These stories reveal God's generous love and his power to multiply our blessings. When we offer what we have and trust with all our hearts, God moves in surprising ways, even when things seem tough. His generosity and love are limitless for those who have faith, and he is always ready to work miracles for those who trust and give what they have. I'd love to hear your story. Comment below with an experience of your own or of someone close to you where God's promises came true. Let's strengthen our faith together and inspire others with these moments of hope and transformation. Now imagine a man named Abraham. He was already an old man with gray hair and everything, and he and his wife Sarah dreamed of having a child. But time kept passing, and still there was no baby. They started to think this dream might never come true, especially since they were now too old to have children. But one day, something extraordinary happened. God spoke to Abraham and made a very special promise. "Abraham," God said, "I'm going to give you a family so big, you won't even be able to count them. They'll be like the stars in the sky." Abraham looked up, and there were the stars, countless and shining in the dark night sky. He wondered how this could possibly happen, but he decided to believe, trusting that God knew what he was doing. Days, months, and years went by, and Abraham kept trusting. Then one day, something incredible happened. Sarah, his wife, became pregnant. Abraham and Sarah could hardly believe it. After all those years, they would finally have a child, and that's how Isaac was born, a long-awaited baby who brought so much joy and became the beginning of the great family God had promised. This story shows us that even when things seem impossible, God has something truly special prepared. Sometimes, we just need to keep waiting and trusting, even when we don't fully understand. Just as Abraham looked up at the stars and believed, we too can believe in God's promises for us, knowing that he always fulfills what he promises and has so much more in store for each of us. Trusting God is like receiving an invisible hug, one that warms the heart and brings deep relief. Imagine yourself in a cozy place, listening to your favorite music, where everything feels lighter, even if the day has been tough. That's what trusting God feels like. It's that peace that lets us breathe deeply, with the assurance that no matter what happens, there's someone greater and wiser taking care of every detail of our lives. Now picture yourself in a boat, out on the open sea. Suddenly, the wind picks up, the waves grow taller, and you can't see what's ahead. Your heart races, fear starts creeping in, and thoughts begin to swirl. But what if you knew there was a captain at the helm? A captain who knows every inch of this sea, who's weathered every storm that could arise. That captain is God. When we let him take control, we can relax and let the fear pass, knowing that he knows exactly where he's guiding us and that this storm is just a temporary phase. This trust brings a unique peace, one that doesn't depend on everything being resolved or the day going perfectly. We often think we'll only find calm when every problem disappears. But the peace that comes from trusting God is different. It's like an inner light that keeps shining, even on the cloudiest days, lighting our path and helping us see the world with calmer eyes and a heart full of hope. This trust also frees us from needing to know exactly what the future holds. God invites us to rest in Him, assured that He knows the way and is watching over each of us like a loving Father. When we lean on this certainty, the weight of worry fades, and we can live in the present with lightness, without the burden of trying to solve everything on our own. Living this way is like walking down a peaceful road, secure in knowing that the best is yet to come. And when challenges arise and thoughts try to pull us toward fear or anxiety, we can remember that God is in control, always seeking our good. This reminder gives us the strength to smile, feel gratitude, and embrace each day with joy and confidence, knowing we're not alone. This trust is our safe refuge, a certainty that, no matter what comes, He is by our side, guiding us with love and care every step of the way. Trusting in God is like nurturing a special little plant. The more care and attention we give, the stronger and more beautiful it grows. Our faith works the same way. There are certain practices that help this trust to blossom every day, starting with simple yet meaningful actions. First, think of prayer as a conversation with a trusted friend. Imagine coming to the end of a long, tiring day and having someone with whom you can share everything, your worries, joys, fears, and even doubts. When we pray, we don't need fancy words. God is there, ready to listen to every detail, like a friend who always has time. This time in prayer is a space where we can be ourselves, where we let our hearts speak and find comfort in His presence. Then there's reading the Bible. The Bible is like a love letter full of wisdom that God wrote just for us. It tells stories of kings, prophets, shepherds, and families who, just like us, faced challenges, victories, and doubts. Each story is like a new page in this garden of wisdom that helps us see that, no matter how hard the journey may seem, there is always hope. These pages remind us of God's faithfulness, and as we walk through them, our faith strengthens, knowing that He never abandons those who seek Him. Finally, there's the power of community. Being with others who also trust in God is like being part of a team where everyone supports one another, shares experiences, and encourages each other to keep going. Picture yourself surrounded by friends and family who understand your struggles, celebrate your victories, and, when you feel weak, remind you of God's promises. This support group gives us strength and inspiration, showing us that we're not alone on this journey. They're the support we need to remember that someone is always by our side. These practices, praying, reading the Bible, and being in community, are like training for the soul. Each one brings us closer to God, strengthens us, and fills us with a unique peace. Over time, these actions become a part of who we are, helping our faith to root itself deeply and firmly. As we practice this daily, our trust in God grows, giving us courage and hope to face whatever challenges life brings. Sometimes the worries and responsibilities of daily life can feel like a heavy cloud hanging over us, pressing on our hearts and draining our energy. It's like carrying a backpack full of stones, with each problem or task adding another weight. But thankfully, there are ways to lighten this load and keep worries from overtaking our minds. One way to lighten this load is through mindful breathing. Imagine pausing for a moment, taking a deep breath, feeling the air flow in and out slowly. This simple practice of focusing on your breath helps calm the mind and allows the body to relax, as if tension is released with each exhale. Deep breathing brings a sense of relief and eases anxiety, making the heart feel a little lighter. Another helpful practice is organization. Sometimes commitments feel tangled in our minds, adding to our sense of overwhelm. By organizing what needs to be done, writing down each task or scheduling appointments, everything starts to feel more manageable. Breaking these tasks into smaller steps and setting aside time for each one makes the day-to-day feel lighter. This planning helps us see that things can be tackled gradually, bringing order to the chaos. Lastly, taking a moment to reflect on the good things in life makes a big difference. Pausing to think about something positive, like our health, loved ones, or a recent achievement, helps us see that despite our problems, there's much to be grateful for. This practice of gratitude teaches us to value what we already have, making our worries feel smaller and reminding us there's always a reason to find peace. By adopting these habits, mindful breathing, organization, and gratitude, we can face challenges with more calm and balance. With a clear mind focused on what matters, we can see solutions more easily and stay strong in the face of difficulties, without letting worries become obstacles along our path. Hey, I noticed you haven't left a like yet. It's super important to keep YouTube sharing this content so we can keep helping you. So go ahead and hit that like button. It's free and makes all the difference. Picture yourself standing before a massive stone. You try to move it with all your strength, giving it everything you've got, but realize that no matter how hard you try, it won't budge. The weight is crushing, and all you feel is the exhaustion of trying to handle it alone. Suddenly, you see friends arriving. They position themselves beside you, each one holding a part of the stone. Together, with a lightness that once seemed impossible, you lift and move the stone. The weight isn't just yours anymore, and a feeling of relief and gratitude fills you. Having others by your side makes all the difference, doesn't it? That's how life feels when we have people with us, especially when surrounded by a community that trusts in God and shares our faith. In tough moments, we find friends and family who understand the value of mutual support and love. They help us keep moving forward, offering advice, encouragement, and reminding us of God's promises. When we face something too big to handle alone, these people lift us up, showing that together we can carry any burden. But this community isn't just there for us in times of pain. They celebrate with us too, cheering for every achievement, from passing a difficult test to realizing a lifelong dream. Seeing their happiness in our victories makes everything more meaningful, reminding us that life has many beautiful moments worth celebrating and sharing with those we love. In these celebrations, we're reminded that even through challenges, there is always joy and love surrounding us, a reminder that life is full of blessings. The presence of these people in our lives helps us remember that God is always with us too. Our community strengthens us, lifts us up, and reinforces our faith, inspiring us to live with more love and compassion. With the support of these friends and family members, our days become lighter, and we feel surrounded by a sense of security. Even when the journey feels heavy, we know that with God and these people by our side, we don't have to carry the weight alone. Living with trust in God is like choosing to use a compass that never loses its direction, even when everything around us feels uncertain. This trust invites us each day to take a step with courage toward the purpose He has set for us. It's not just hoping things will work out, but waking up with the confidence that no matter what happens, God is in control, caring for every detail. This trust completely transforms how we face challenges. Instead of feeling alone or overwhelmed, we know that God walks beside us, providing the strength and calm we need. When we decide to trust in Him, something changes within us. A quiet strength grows, and we face difficulties with a peace that doesn't depend on circumstances. It's like having a solid foundation that holds us up, a secure base that allows us to act with courage and determination, even when the path ahead is unknown. Hit the like button and strengthen this message. It makes all the difference for the channel and helps us reach more people. sharing faith and encouragement to trust in God's promises. Your support is essential. And this commitment to trust in God isn't just a temporary choice or something we do only in tough times. It's a lifelong decision. Each day, as we trust more in Him, this faith becomes an essential part of who we are, transforming not only our own lives but also impacting those around us. Those who see us can feel, without us even saying a word, that there's a calmness within us that comes from this trust, and many are inspired to seek that same peace and security. As we journey forward, this trust becomes a reflection of God's love and goodness. More than words, our example becomes a way to show the world that it's possible to live with peace, even in uncertain times. When we choose to trust daily, we become part of a greater plan, and our lives take on a deeper purpose. This daily choice connects us to what God desires for us, shaping us so that each step is part of a safe, meaningful path full of hope. So after everything we've talked about, here's something really important. Keep your eyes wide open and your heart ready for what God has in store for you. He's already prepared something special, and all He asks is that we trust, even when we don't understand it all. Remember, God always keeps His promises, and He's taking care of every detail in perfect timing. So keep going strong and confident. You don't need to know every step or understand each moment. Just trust and let Him guide you, surprising you with all the good things that are on the way. Thank you for watching till the end. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to keep receiving our upcoming content. See you in the next video.